Everybody did it. Right, so October Red, I'm here with Derrick James post-fight. First of all, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning and you're still here having conversations with folk like us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I mean, it's like it's a good night for boxing for me, and I'm happy. So it's good.
We can go back to the beginning. We talk about, because I obviously didn't get to speak to you at the presser, we talk about the late change in opponent. The fight gets announced. We know that he's going to fight Dillian White. Obviously, that's who you're preparing for in camp. Then we get the change. How did the camp go? Because you were also training Errol Spence at the same time. You've been a busy man. How did the camp go?
Camp was good. I trained Frank Martin. This is my third fight in 27 days. So what happens is people have this idea that they're all training at the same time. They rarely see each other because I train them 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. So they never. So it's like first is AJ, then it's Errol, then it's Frank, then it's maybe Ryan. So it's like they're all back to back to back to back. So it's not, so it's 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. So I'm in the gym from like 9 o'clock until like, 5 or 6 o'clock or whatever. But so let's distill that idea. People like, oh, you don't have time to train. Yes, I do. He has 2 hours. So the only time you see them in the gym together is because AJ is doing physio and he's doing his strength and conditioning, or Errol is like hanging around doing his abs, or then Ryan comes in. So it's not like they're all there together. They rarely see each other. And that's how I like it.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense, to be fair. But how did you deal with this camp, like I said, with the change of opponent? Because we all thought it was going to be Dillian White tonight, and then we get the news of the adverse findings in the VADA test. So we get a change. So you as a trainer, adapting, there's days' notice.
I think that, it's like, it was difficult, but it wasn't because we were already in shape. So that was out of you didn't have to worry about getting in conditioning. But it was like just changing the trajectory of the way I was preparing him, holding the mitts, and how you want to. I watched the knockout, which when he and I were on the podium earlier, that's what we were talking about. And he sent it to me, and he did exactly what I said to do. Because I told him, I said that the guy is going to use his hands out. So he threw a jab and hit him in the hand, he hit him in the chest, and threw the right hand over the top. So it was like he hit him in the hand to take the hand out of play. He hit him in the chest to let the guy know he still hit him, and he caught him with the straight right hand. So it was like, shockingly enough, he did exactly what I asked him to do. So, it's amazing.
It seems that the relationship with you two is working extremely well. AJ seems to really bond with you. We've seen this develop since the last fight until now. I often said that I believe that for him to really come into himself and to be comfortable is to find like a father figure in boxing. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think that I'm a father figure. I think I'm just like a big brother. Somebody who, and really the thing about it is like we have a real honest relationship, a real honest form of communication. And it's really like we really care about each other, right? So that makes a difference with Errol, with the other guys, even with Ryan. Like, we're like, man, I love you, I love you. It's like he's a young kid. Normally, young kids don't tell people that they love them. So it's like you have to have a real relationship and real true interactions with these guys, I believe, to be able to build with them, and they have to trust and believe what you tell them. And shockingly enough, I said, throw the jab, hit him in the hand, hit him in the chest with the jab. He did exactly. And I told him that even before, so that's how we prepared today. So it was like I told him that today, and he did it, and it was great.
Yeah, we saw that knockout, and you could see from Anthony Joshua's initial reaction, he was really happy, almost like, I did it. I got that knockout. That is what I wanted. He went to points with Jermaine, and he you could see he was like, I'm not really happy with that, because he's known for stopping his opponents. He got that, and you saw the immediate reaction, almost like Deontay Wilder-ish, where he starts to like dance in the ring. It was strange to see him do that.
I just think that was his. He was in the moment, and I think that it's okay to show emotion, whether good or bad. I mean, I think that it's all about how you feel. I mean, it just shows the human element to who he is as an individual, and how people generally think that you should act the way that they think you should act or react to that. And that was just in the moment action, and he did it. And listen, it's okay.
I think the thing is with, the reactions that we get from Anthony Joshua, he is constantly under the microscope. I've said this, if he puts one foot in front of the other and people don't like the way it is, he's the one that's going to be put under the microscope for it. So when I say that, we've seen emotion with him in his last few fights, which is refreshing, because it's almost like he's coming into who he is as a person. He feels comfortable enough to do that, like you said, that human kind of reaction.
I think that everything is a process. I mean, it's a learning process. Whether you do something that you do, when you look back, you say, "Oh, I shouldn't have did that," or you do something, you say, "Well, that was okay," and that, because you really, I looked at it like this, and I say that I hope that my reactions from this time and space that I'm in to what my great grandkids said, they're like, "Oh, okay, my grandfather's okay," right? Or you don't want to embarrass your ancestors, right? The people who came before you, sacrificed and did whatever for you to get you to this particular point. And you really uphold, for me, is that I do my best to uphold everything that they built, everything they sacrificed for. And so even with AJ, he's really kind of like, if he shows emotion, it's okay, because it's him having to live with it and him not caring about it, because it's okay to cry, it's okay to be. So all these things are things that men do, because I just knocked the guy out, or I'm a fighter. That's what I do for a living. So you can cry, you can be whatever, and you can do whatever, because he's a man, and it's okay.
I like that human approach to it, because often we're quite rigid and we expect people to be, almost robotic in there and not show that emotion. But he's done it. He's got the knockout, short notice, change of opponents. However, he was one of them that you were initially looking at before you got to White. So that slate is now clean. We move forward. Deontay Wilder is the fight that we really want to see. It's Deontay Wilder and it's Tyson Fury. You as a coach, you as somebody that's guiding him, mentoring him, what do you believe should be next for Anthony Joshua?
Well, I never engage in that. I mean, I want whoever he wants. I'm not the guy to say, "Look, I want to fight this guy." This is not my career. It's his personal career, so it's all about who he wants to fight. And it's up to me to help prepare him for that.
That's a different approach, because sometimes coaches will say, I don't think my fighter, or they may suggest to their fighter to avoid getting into certain fights. So it's quite interesting how your relationship works. He said, ask my coach on my performance, because my coach is the one that teaches me. And you're saying, ask the fighter about who he wants next, because it's his choice and I prepare him for that fighter. That philosophy, that kind of ethos, is different.
Well, yeah, it's his career. It's not my career. I mean, so it's like, and so even if I say, okay, what we saw today, because I heard in the interview they were talking about, could that performance today beat Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder? And it's like, it's a different fight, which is like, so why would you even ask a question like that? But it's like, so my job is to constantly just keep helping him, chop away at his skill set, develop his skill set, build his skill set, be better, be better, be better. And so hopefully by the time in January, whenever it is, we see what we have, like 5 months or so. And so we just keep building, man, keep chopping. It's like, it's not an easy task. It's not even an easy task for Deontay Wilder. So both of us may have challenging situations, if that be the case, right? So yeah, but and just keep chopping it, just keep working, and just keep trying different things and see, does this work, does this work, does this work? I think that with the ability to have taller sparring, because it's different when you're 6'7", 6'8", and you are sparring guys 6'2", 6'1", like Dillian White. So you have to make that mental adjustment. It's not that easy, but he was able to. He worked on Thursday with a little bit of a technical sparring with the young man, and then he was able to adjust him. It was good.
Eddie mentioned that in the changing room that it was, slightly tense in there. I mean, I can put words in your mouth and say all different reasons. One thing I will note is that he's under a tremendous amount of pressure. Like I said, that microscope. People can often say that things don't affect them. It's just a fight. It is what it is. But that emotion, that feeling in the changing room before you walk out with your fighters, that tenseness that Eddie was talking about, could you elaborate on that?
Well, I didn't really recognize that. Because my job is to make sure that he's throwing the punches correctly, he's reacting to me correctly. That's all. I mean, that's what my focus really is. Not so much about. I didn't see the tense, but it's like the tension because it's like if you look at it, like he learned more about Helenius than he did before. Because I think they sparred like years ago.
Okay.
But I think that, like I said to him, I said that Robert Helenius will find out that you're a different person than you were before, right? Because, I mean, like, he was very adamant on trying to land the right hand. Like, it was really like, I hadn't seen him even be that way in the gym, other than me working with him on his right hand, right? But he was really trying to, like, get to him and hit him. And in the round before, like I said, he said, I can't find the right hand. It's not landing. I said, listen, keep throwing it. Step in with it. And he stepped in with it and caught him. So it was good. Just about him, you think about this. His eyes couldn't see it. So he used my eyes to get it, right? And my words to get it. But I like step in closer and so that's what it was. It was like, because his eyes couldn't see it, but my words and I could see it. So I mean, he used my words and my vision.
The third eye of the coach, where we draw a line under that. And just finally, before we finish off, it would be stupid of me if I didn't speak to you about young Errol Spence. I was there, I watched the fight. No, as in I was watching the fight at home. I wish I went to Vegas. Nah, okay. I ain't paid enough to do that. A fight that I was really, really looking forward to, a fight that I got up at whatever time in the morning to watch. And watching the documentaries before the fight really helped the viewers to get in touch with the fighters on an emotional side to see where you're coming from. And the journey that you've had with Errol, the fight didn't go as planned. Talk to us about that. As a friend to him as well.
Yeah, well, it's life, man. It's like you prepare for something and it just doesn't work out. I mean, like you can be off. Your timing can be off. Your reaction time can be off. And you move slow. I mean, it was like he was like walking in quicksand or whatever. And that could be due to him, weight. I don't know. But whatever it wasn't the Errol that we've customarily seeing, and not even the same guy that was in the gym. So it's like, who knows what it was? I mean, I have no idea. I make no excuses for his performance, but that was not the Errol Spence that we all know and love. So, but it's okay.
So sometimes that can happen because the other fighter is more dominant and they're able to control the fight. Yeah.
It was more about Errol than it was about Crawford, I believe. I mean, it wasn't like he was turning flips and jumping up and down. It was just like he just is like in quicksand. That happens a lot in boxing. Happens sometimes with fighters, so you just never know. It happens, unfortunately.
Was there any time when Errol was in there that you thought I should pull him out?
I mean, I was watching the fight, right, and the difference was that I was watching when he's still throwing hard punches. So I was like, he's still trying, even though it wasn't. But like when people say like you should have stopped the fight, well, it wasn't like when he fought Ugas where he just kept hitting him over like hundreds of times over and over. It was just like every now and then he would hit him with a counter punch, right? That's different than being beat up They just were not accustomed to seeing him get hit, is what it was. And I mean, I'm just trying. I mean, you see him get hit every now and then, but not. It wasn't like he was just throwing 1,000 punches, landing 1,000 punches. He was throwing some punches. He was landing shots. He was hurting Errol with shots, but it was like he was in quicksand. But at the same time, his intent was still there. And we've seen Terrence get hit by other guys. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe he'll land a shot, but I mean, it's life.
Moving forward then with Errol, the weight's always been something. I mean, he even mentioned it in the documentary. Is like he was talking about food, he was talking about getting a nutritionist, and it seems to be this issue of making weight. Does he need to go up now? Like I think he's mentioned 154, but could he go up heavier than that?
I mean, he can do whatever he wants. I think that 154 is like the most logical thing. And I mean, really, it's whatever he wants. Like I said, this is his career, it's his life. I'm just here helping him get to wherever he wants to go. I mean, we got to, we didn't get to undisputed, but we did get to, a unified champ or whatever. And whatever he wants to do, I'm with him.
And finally, you've got Charlo, another fight that's coming up, preparing for Canelo. He's jumping up 2 weights. He's going up to 168. The preparation for that, because Charlo hasn't really been that active, and this is something that is so key. As a former fighter yourself, fighters have got to practice their craft, and there's no better way than in sparring and fighting itself. So what are you going to do to prepare Charlo for this fight?
We just got to keep pushing. We got to keep working. He was injured. He broke his hand, but he still was working out. So that's the thing about it. It's not like he just, I signed to fight and I signed. No, he's been working. It's all about just mashing the gas, picking up the pace. Canelo's a great fighter, and it's a great challenge. I mean, we're looking forward to the great challenge.
We're looking forward to it too. I've taken up far too much of your time. I really appreciate it. Derrick, I don't know, maybe I'll get to Texas one day. Who knows?
You're right. You never know.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.